Okay, hello, here we go. Chapter 10 from Visioneering. Recapping, Chapter 10, three things that stand out that I want to share. One, vision has its price. Vision always has a price. Whether you wanted to get a degree in blank to get such and such job, there was a price. You want to, accomplish this goal in life, serve people a certain way, live in a certain part of the world, etc. There's a cost to it. And when women start their Mary Kay business for some reason, they're all so busy when they start. And we say the busiest women get the most done, but something has to give you time to reach that goal, to reach that vision. It's unrealistic to think that you can add this on to your already busy life if you're going through qualifications or times where you need desire massive growth. It takes more time. And so at those times, other things are taken off the plate to add them on. That's life. When you had kids, you changed how you used your time because you have to keep this human alive, grow in you, and then get it out and take care of it. You use your time differently when you get married, when you have aging parents. Again, you use your time differently because there's a price. Time placed in one person, one conversation, one text, scrolling, etc., to watch other people's lives. They can give you the impression that it's easy to reach the goals, but those are the highlight reels. The boring stuff is the day to day. Leadership is boring. Reaching visions is boring in the process of it, but not achieving it. That is exciting. But vision has its price. Are you willing to pay the price? Maybe unwillingness to be uncomfortable or inconvenience has been holding you back. And so, are you willing to take time from one place to put into another for that vision to become a reality? Obviously, the more time you invest, the faster you get to the vision. And sometimes God has me circle back to those other things and pick them back up. But what I found is usually vision is progressive and those things stay in the past. And there's other new things in the future that I'm supposed to be investing in. Vision has a price. Are you willing to pay the price? Or are there some sacrifices or places of being uncomfortable that you have to start working outside your comfort zone for? Two, the difference between those with the burden for, they're talking about serving inner city children, but that could be the burden for leadership, the burden for the future of this company, the burden for the future of this company to be tied to God, family, career, and be a mission field so that faith can be an integral part of it. A burden for fill in the blank. The difference between those with the burden for this vision and those who actually do something about it, it's not the resources. We hear this from the stage all the time. I was in credit card debt. I had to write a post-dated check for my starter kit. But I had a burden for it, so I was willing to figure it out. Whereas there's people that would have had the full, starter kit money, inventory money, seminar money sitting in a checking account. They could have written a check out. That wasn't where I was at when I started my Mary Kay business. So resources mean not having the money. When people don't start a Mary Kay business because they don't have enough money to get a consultant number, that's an oxymoron. Like, this is the vehicle to change that. Are you willing to not use resources as an excuse to get you from here to there? It's a willingness to take risk and make sacrifices. And I want to share with you that Matthew 25:14-30, that Mary Kay wrote on our dollar bills and handed to me personally when I became a director. Let me tell you what it says in the footnotes of my life application Bible about that third person who buried their gifts and talents and did not hear good and faithful servant, which Mary Kay wanted us all to hear. The third person that didn't hear it, it says, the last man was thinking only of himself, playing it safe and protecting himself from his hard taskmaster. He was judged for his self-centeredness. We must not make excuses to avoid what God calls us to do. If God truly is our master, we must obey willingly. Our time, abilities, and money aren't ours in the first place. We are caretakers, not owners. When we ignore, squander, or abuse what we are given, we are rebellious and deserve to be punished. Okay. So 3, you cannot lead people any further than you're willing to go yourself. You cannot cast a compelling vision for people if you have not demonstrated your willingness to make sacrifices and take risk. I'm so happy that Mary Kay set this up so that the people who are training you on activity, action, real life versus theory. I went to a college, and back in the 80s, it was a lot more theory training. Those people hadn't run businesses. They were out in the field doing what, I was then doing once I graduated, but I had the degree, right? So in Mary Kay, it's apprenticing. Everyone ahead of you has done what you've done, plus more, depending on where they're at. And that, to me, gave me confidence that they knew what they were doing. And as long as I was willing to make the same choices, same activity, same amount of faces, interviews, building leaders, etc., I could get to where they were at. So you cannot lead people further than you've gone. Mary Kay was so wise. She said there's 3 ways to lead: by example, by example, by example. That's book, coach, sell, recruit, repeat. Book, coach, sell, recruit, repeat. Book, coach, sell, recruit, repeat. This has been made very easy for us. And, something that was mentioned to me this week that I shared in my testimony in a video called Faith on Heels, I think. You could see it on my YouTube channel. Karen Rydell did a 4-part series with it, with women sharing how their faith and their Mary Kay business collided, crossed, intersected, what that has looked like. And she said, I didn't realize that you quit your job after you did your perfect start. And I said, yeah, I did. But you know what? I saw Debbie Moore, who had quit her job, which was one that needed a college education. She was a teacher. She quit that to do her Mary Kay business full time. She was a Cadillac sales director, had a 3-year-old at that time. And if Debbie Moore would have had another job, I wouldn't have signed up for Mary Kay, because I wasn't looking for a side hustle. I had an 80-hour-a-week job, and I know I could get another job. I could go back and get my master's. I wasn't looking for a side hustle. I wanted all of what Mary Kay was offering. So when you get to a position that you want to be a leader in Mary Kay and raise up leaders, take that seriously, because you can say, and I've had people, battle me on this and contend with me on this, that, oh no, well, if they're not going to do it because, I have another job, then that's fine. They're not supposed to be with me. You're right. They're not. They're supposed to be with a leader who's 150% across the line, and she's doing what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to embrace the price of the vision, and you're going to have to be willing to take risk and sacrifices. And when you're an employee, you don't have to do either of those things. You have to show up and provide the service for that cog in the wheel, for that school, that hospital, that business, etc. And I've never seen anyone that does not do this full-time as a leader that wants to raise up leaders in Mary Kay. Can you have a great customer base? Yeah. Can you have a unit that has a lot of production and selling? Yeah. But I've never seen anyone in that position raise up leaders, maintain, and have them continue to pass it on and grow. And I haven't seen anyone in the Bible either that God made it clear that they were supposed to be in leadership that didn't make it there. The only way they didn't make it into that leadership position or didn't maintain it is because they kind of slipped into maybe that third person, unwilling to take risk, being uncomfortable or inconvenienced. So Bill Hybel always said, success is a journey. From here, vision's a journey, here to there. And when you're willing to go from here to there, it's because there is worth it. And I will tell you, this vision in Mary Kay is as worth it as it always has been, and I believe is more relevant than it ever has been. Enjoy your today time.